Whatever happened with Taste of Taboo?
Oh, yo, Taste of Taboo. I don't know. I just grew up, like, you know. That was.
Can you explain a little bit, like, what happened with it?
I mean, well, it was done. I released kind of like some of the records for it, and I don't know. I just grew up from that title.
Okay. What was like the original vision for it?
I mean, the original vision was like, you know, I had a bunch of crazy ass ideas, but it was gonna be with this producer I was working with at the time. Excuse me, just still in high school. This dude named Begir Olu, and he's like dope ass producer, man. Like heavily like Jay Dilla inspired, and we were just like working like heavy, like nonstop, and then eventually we just parted ways, like. Not nothing personal, but you know, it's like
things happen.
Like, just takes your own ways,
yeah, you know. So like he ended up moving somewhere in Harlem, I think, and I just been a BK and shit. So I just
kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, it just fizzled out, and it was like I just felt like like that was his name, you know, in a weird way. Like his type was my idea, but like that was like our project,
like
you know?
your
so
brainchild.
Yeah, so I wouldn't like try to do it on my own, like you know. So I just switched it up.
You guys ever talk anymore? Not really?
Oh, yeah, man. Okay. I had him up every so often. Yeah.
So, like, obviously, you're, like I said before, you're with 1160, which includes Dime a Dozen. So, like, do you fuck with Stro, too? Like, do you guys, like, do shit together?
Yo, man, the funny thing is, when I went to that video, I didn't even know Stro knew who I was.
What, the Dime a Dozen video?
Nah, yeah, when I did the Good Lord video.
Good Lord, yeah.
Like, Stro came through, he's like, what up, YT? I'm like,
you know who I am?
You know me, bro? What up?
What's up, fam?
I have a really hard time figuring out how big Stro is.
Yo, man, he was like in a Disney movie, man.
Yeah,
like
I know he's like
Man Society.
Yeah, he did like the X Factor show. Like,
yeah,
he's legit. Like L.A. Reid fucks with him heavy.
So
like,
he's not 1160, right?
No, he's not 1160.
So is he just
yo, Stro, you want to be 1160?
Got
the invite.
OG right here, baby.
Wait, so I was gonna ask you about the Good Lord video. So like, you're like chilling, like wilding out in the background and shit. Like, so Dime's like wanted you there like for your presence, basically.
No, I'm on the hook.
Are you?
That was the only thing I thought.
Because you're not even credited on Spotify, actually.
Yeah, no. I mean, that was the point. I mean, we just like the Good Lord is me. Yeah, that's all me and shit. Like,
oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
It was just like, but it was just like me and my boys just chilling. I wasn't looking for like me being credited.
That video was tight though.
Yeah. Oh, that video was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's also ties into like the Japanese influence.
Like, yeah, man. But that was all like Tanner's idea. It's ironic that it tied into like what I'm into personally, because like
well, that's how you know it's a good partnership.
Yeah, man,
for sure.
You know,
you guys
fucking
on the same vibe.
Yeah, man, Tanner's dope.
So then, are you gonna so you haven't worked with Stro on anything else, right?
Who's that again?
Have you worked with Stro on anything else?
Oh nah, man, I haven't.
Just like that one day, you guys just like
this
kicking
one
it through
day,
the video.
and we was even in the studio at the same time. That was the first time I met him at that video shoot. But I'm down, man. You know, he's from my family hood in Brownsville.
Yeah.
So you know, like, it can happen.
It's like all in the same family.
Yeah, you know, like I'm watching him grow. Like, you know what I mean? I listen to all his music. I'm like, I follow him on SoundCloud and shit. So every time he drops some new shit, you feel me? Like when he did the Mighty Healthy 2016, like I was on it from since then, and like I've been keeping up with him. He does like freestyles like every other month and shit. So he's dope, man. He's like
he
can spit.
He's young.
He can spit. I want to ask you a little bit about the kind of like the big cats that are like the new on the scene dudes from New York. So like dudes like ASAP, Bronson, even like Joey, dudes like that who definitely rep for New York, but they don't really have what people would refer to as like that traditional old head New York sound. How do you really think that, or do you think that guys like that, because they make such different music, do you think they kind of like clear any kind of lanes that young dudes coming up kind of want to
like pave a new way, basically?
Or do you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I fuck with everybody that's doing it right now, man. Because it's like, for one, it's like opening the door for, you know, like artists like me coming out right now.
But they kind of like just do away with that whole like traditional New York sound that kind of like boxed you in, where like hear those boom bap drums now.
I mean,
rap
but they kind of do it. I mean, like
Joey does. Joey incorporates.
Joey does a little bit, but you even hear songs like "Teach Me How to Dance."
So that was like the one exception. Like usually it was like a bunch of scratch beats on that album.
Yeah, I mean, like
what's "Teach Me How to Dance"? What's that?
With Kaiser.
It was
a song that he had on his
track.
It was the last track I think he had on his album.
Money.
Yeah,
it's cool.
We'll play for it. It's a tight track.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I got the Pizza Pill.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we'll play for you.
But yeah, I mean, because like obviously New York's known for a certain sound thanks to the
man,
'90s.
fuck that sound.
Actually, I'm curious. Like,
I mean, not fuck that sound.
No, I know what you're saying, but
you
fuck
wouldn't
that
do what you want
mentality.
to do.
Yeah, man, we gotta let us grow, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Atlanta,
That's like what I'm
Atlanta
trying-
now.
yeah.
Atlanta now doesn't sound like, or doesn't sound exactly like, you know, Atlanta in 1994, or like Atlanta
As
with
it should be.
Kilo Wale, or like,
Yeah.
you feel me, or like even Atlanta in the crunk era music. Like this is
Yeah.
a totally different sound. Like you feel me, or like LA doesn't sound exactly like G Funk. Like you feel
No.
me, like you know what I mean. Like the Bay doesn't sound exactly like hyphy right now. It's like
Yeah.
it's the elements that you need, and it's elevated. You know what I mean? That's what we gotta do. We just gotta elevate the elements, man.
But like,
Yeah.
so we were, you know, we always talk about this. How like you said before, the '90s are referred to as the golden era, and like rightfully so because some of the best who ever done it.
So the
came-
best MCs were from that
came
time.
out of the '90s. But like Vince Staples said, like we shouldn't have to view that as the sole golden era because it should evolve as a genre of music. It just becomes more musical. Like,
I mean, I just feel like a lot of the problem is like with people just afraid to let go. You know what I mean? Mad people just afraid of letting go, and
Yeah.
that's the real problem is being afraid.
Yeah.
always want to hold on to that
And like
time
you know what I
period.
mean, and like a lot of these old dudes, man, they salty, man, and that's like, you know what I mean.
Well,
That's
kinda
just the truth, man. Like, you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean. The gods always say, man, you gotta let word be born, man. And it's like at the end of the day, you saying, like, you know what I mean. You gotta call it what it is. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes just be salty, man. And
Yeah.
like, you know, when they was coming out, you know, what I mean? I remember a Redman interview where he was talking about how, like, the older cats from the '80s wasn't really
Yeah, I've
fucking
heard
with
shit like that, too.
Wasn't fucking with how like they came through all rugged and shit. They
It's
was
all
like,
cyclical.
Wait, was it like a
Yeah.
recent interview?
Nah, this is
Oh,
like
okay.
back in the day. Like he had a
Oh.
back.
I remember
in
him
the
talking
day.
to Sway about that recently
Yo,
too.
word.
Actually.
Let's see. Like now we in the same situation where
Yeah.
like now we're like, you know what I mean? We wear tighter clothes or whatever, or you know what I mean? We just got a different
So
vibe.
funny
and
though
we
you say that,
melodize
but-
and like, you know what I mean? Like that's our wave. Like you feel me? And they
Yeah,
just
it's
gotta-
almost-
they just got to step back and let us.
You should
Yeah,
have
it
your
is,
own
it is.
thing.